There's this line in the song, I'm holding on, why is everything so heavy? And if you've ever felt like that, like really, really felt it, the way your bones ache with it, the way it sits in your chest like a rock, weighing so much, then you know. You know how hard it is to explain, just to say out loud, just to admit that sometimes just existing takes absolutely everything you've got.
So that's why we're here. Mind Matters is a podcast from the people who brought you Who Cares, and it's not just another podcast about mental health. It's a space where we drop the act, there's no sugarcoating, no just think positive, just real talk. About the days when the weight wins and about the fight that nobody sees. About what it actually takes to keep going when everything in you wants to let go.
We've been the people who couldn't get out of bed. We've been the ones that smile whilst we're falling apart. And we've learned this. The moments that we drag the stuff into the light, that's when the power loses. That's when we realise we're not broken, we're just human.
So, whether you're here because you're struggling or because you love someone who is, welcome. You're safe here and you're not alone.
Welcome back to Mind Matters podcast. So today you've got myself, Lee, you've got John, we've got Emma joining us today.
Emma turned up. She's only an hour and a half late.
Appearing live from Hollywood.
Oh, Hollywood.
And the amazing Jen. So
The amazing Jen.
we're here to pull back the curtain on depression today. Not the Depression.
Depression, oh,
I said
okay.
depression.
No, you said depression.
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 Well,
That's like,
let's not all argue about it. Let's go to
it's not like
Thank God all
depression.
day week.
Shall I go over again? Shall I go back to bed?
Yes, please.
I don't think you've woken up yet.
That's like it's like depression mode.
Wake up with my mum in the room.
Depression. Sorry, let's be serious, Megan.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but not the sad, not the watered down and sad version, but the real relentless beast that steals colours from life through the raw personal stories. We're going to explore what it's actually like to live with depression. So just imagine waking up in a world that's lost its pulse. Food tastes like nothing. Music feels flat. Even your own reflection looks like a stranger staring back. Depression isn't sadness, it's a hollowing out, a silent war where the enemy is your own mind. People spend days paralysed under blankets, bargaining with themselves just to brush the teeth. If you've ever felt like this, or you love someone that does, know that you're not broken. You're just fighting a battle that most people can't see. So today we're gonna...
And that's different to a hangover. Yeah.
For some.
No, I think it's a really serious subject. And do you know what? And I speak about my dad a lot at the moment, but in the 80s, when we moved to Newbury, my dad had a full mental breakdown. And my biggest memory of my dad at that time was him sitting in the corner, just staring at the corner for weeks on end, just nothing going on. Everyone, and that's the difference, isn't it? So people say, I feel depressed. Actually, you might just be having a bad
Just
day.
having a low mood, yeah.
You're allowed to have a low mood, but there's a very big difference, isn't there?
Very big difference, yeah. Because depression can actually be a physical thing as well.
Massively.
And me and Lee were just discussing that, you know, we're the sort of people, we eat when we're happy, we eat when we're sad, we eat when we don't eat when we're stressed. So it can affect you in all sorts of ways.
And
What
I've
kind
said
of
to you
people
before,
diet?
like a few times, like I'm just lying here staring out the window, and that's when I'm really, really low. Like literally,
You can't think of anything else. You don't even think about food.
Yeah,
And
like,
sometimes you can go 3
I
days
have
and
to
think,
force
"Well,
myself to
yeah.
eat. I have to like I live to eat. No, I eat to live. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, you eat to live, yeah.
I literally have to force myself. But I've said to you so many times, I'm just lying here on the sofa, just staring out the window, and I can't focus on
Yeah,
anything.
yeah.
And that's the difference between
Yeah,
being.
and that's like me when I'm really stressed and I can't. And obviously being at ADHD as well, you hyper focus on that thing you're stressed about or upset about, or whether it's a relationship breaking up, my dad passing away. You just don't think about anything else, and you think, oh shit, I haven't eaten for
When
2
was the last
days.
time I ate?
Yeah,
Well, I was on the phone with her the other day and she said, John got some toast. And she had like a sniff of it. I was like, what are you doing, eating the crumbs?
I said, no, I'm eating. I'm eating some toast. He was like, no, you've literally had a crumb.
You basically licked the crumb off.
you're actually holding it, is what you meant.
She wasn't holding it. I think she was just sort of looking at the crumbs going, I've had that bit.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah.
It was probably from 3 days ago.
Yeah, probably.
That's when he
No,
found
but that's
it.
the state I get into. Like, I literally can't. Because some people, when they're like in a low place, they eat more. But
Yeah,
the opposite,
we were
possibly.
saying, you know, I'm at the minute, I'm in a really nice place. I'm sort of like, well, this isn't nice, but I'm in a really good place mentally, and
Do you mean the
surrounded by idiots.
studio or Newton Abbot as
Well,
general?
no, let's not talk about Newton Abbott. I don't want any haters, especially with her
Big
keyboard
up,
warrior.
Emily.
But yeah,
Warrior
it's-
over there.
yeah, she will be now. With the episode she's not in, you know, anyone comes on there, it's going to be her. But yeah, no, it's, I'm in a good place, so I'm eating well. And again, the kids been off school, so I've not been to the gym. So yeah, it's good.
I've
But
got a belly again.
eh?
I've got a belly again.
It's good.
Oh, yeah,
It's
you're
good 'cause
massive.
You're eating at the minute.
because I'm eating, I've got a belly.
She's actually alive. She's not a shoelace anymore.
So, I mean,
Shoelace with a knot in it.
on that note, it's always good when you're in a good place, but it's also okay when you're. I will kill you. It keeps eating my sweets. But I'm not in a great place at the minute. It's been last year was quite tough. So yesterday I made that dreaded call to the doctor. So again, trying to take some of the advice we give. And that call's always difficult, but it's always kind of like the hardest step is to accept.
Yeah, but the amazing thing is as well with our little, you know, group that you've been able to discuss it and talk about it, and I think that's a really big thing. And you know, well done for doing that. Well done for reaching out and
It
practice
takes some
what you
bravery,
preach, isn't it?
doesn't it, to go, I'm
Yeah.
struggling.
I mean, how long has this podcast been going on for?
Oh, 2 minutes. But it feels like 2 years.
A little while.
I
In
know
that
what you
time,
mean.
I've had to
All
make
of
the
them.
call to the doctors, and you've had to make the call to the doctors. Both of us are in that like really short time scale, so it just goes to show, doesn't it, like how real it is.
Yeah.
Well,
And we are
it's-
trying to be as raw as possible. So thank you for opening
Yeah,
up
because
about that.
that's what this podcast is about. It's about real talk from real people, not kind of textbook talk.
No.
And I
or-
don't think we're hiding anything, are we? We haven't hid anything. We've been really
Please off his rocker.
Yeah, no, definitely.
not yet. He's in bed
Nothing
today.
like kicking a man when he's down.
Yeah, off stage.
Thanks for coming
How
in.
are you doing though? Now you've made that call to the doctor, how do you feel? Do you feel a bit sort of relieved that you've spoken to him? Do you feel like it's made a change or a difference? Have they made any suggestions? Are you going to have any counselling?
Yeah, so I've got some antidepressants for the short term, but also made referrals to talking therapy. So
Good
I'm
for
going to
you.
go down that route. It'll be good. But it can be kind of depression can just be anywhere. I mean, I was brought up in the shadow of depression, so my nan is like she passed away now, but was the sweetest little Irish lady you
not
would
anymore.
ever know. No, she's not. She's very bones now.
Anyways. Emma's here.
But anyway, but she
Sorry,
suffered really badly with depression. And we just get told as kids the sort of nan's gone into hospital and she'd fallen down before and broken a leg, and we went into hospital and signed a cast. So we as kids were like, can we go and see her? Like, no, you're not allowed to go and see her. And that didn't make a lot of sense. It was just like shrouded in secrecy. But people think about depression as just being sad, but it's not really, is it?
No.
It can be numbness. Some people can experience depression, and I know myself when I kind of experience depression, it comes out in kind of anger. It's
And that's really a different person to who you are, because you're really quite chilled out and almost, I mean, if your lights are off, mate, you would be asleep. Let's be honest. You are just that chilled,
Chilled,
aren't
yeah.
you?
Oh, no need to like attack my insomnia now.
Yeah.
Everyone's picking on
But
Lee
I
today.
suppose if you are a really
Get out.
calm,
Have you been bullied in the workplace? 0800 do one.
but I think if you are a quiet person and you are quite a chilled person on the outside to everybody else, there's got to be a build up, isn't there? There's got to be an exploding point. So if you say you deal with things in an angry way,
I don't think you do it in general in an angry way, do you?
No,
I think
well,
or
you
do you
just-
feel angry?
No, it's just sometimes I just reach that limit and then there's another
Just
person in
explode.
charge. It's just
But I think that happens to, like you said, a lot of us
You're gonna
have
build
that. Because I'm quite charged and shit, quiet and chilled out, but I've got a hell of a temper when it goes, and it's just a nightmare because, you know, lots of people are like it, but in that moment, there's nothing that's going to stop you, is there? There's no rationale.
No.
There's
It's like a child in a meltdown.
It's
There's
like,
no
yeah.
point trying to reason with them or
And you
bargain.
can't
You've just got
reason
to
with
let
me,
it
'cause I'm
go.
like a 21 stone fucking oaf who's just got no fucking mind. And I think that's the risk here, isn't it? When you've got people who are really down and really depressed, they do not have control in that moment.
But you can only hide it for so long, and it will come out in some way.
We
whether
all
it's
try and hide it,
anger.
don't we? We all try and massively.
Yeah,
all the time.
absolutely.
We all try and hide it massively.
But I think the nice thing is, Lee, you know, you've got 3 complete dickheads here who are your friends and want to support you. And you made the decision to do the right thing for yourself. And I mean, so all credit to you, mate.
Yeah,
So,
and thank you for talking about it.
no, you can go.
And this was, but yeah, so let's talk about tasks.
Oh, task. Everything's a
Tasks
task.
during
Everything's a task.
depression.
Everything's
Let's
a
talk
task.
about not.
Jenna laughs at me sometimes because I can go a couple of days without a shower. But
I don't laugh at you. I'm disgusted. That's a
But
difference.
it's genuinely because I'm lying
If she
in bed
says
like,
I washed today, I'm like, oh, well done.
because it is like
You forget.
it becomes no. It's not that I forget. It just becomes a job. Everything
it's a
is a
task.
job. So when I'm in that low space,
And like you said before, your main task is your daughter,
Yeah, my
and
main
you're a
task is my
mum,
daughter,
and
but
as
she's
long as
okay.
you can get her
as
sorted
long
and
as
get
she's
her off
all
to
right,
school,
yeah, as long as she's
back to
okay.
bed and
But to myself, like everything just becomes a massive job,
Mm.
and it's just a huge thing to come over. So for most people, just go and have a shower.
so basically you want me to come over and wash your
Yeah,
back?
please, can you just come and wash me?
But you've got a lot on your plate, don't you? I mean,
Just go
you
on,
know,
wash me.
you've got a really good job that's very demanding.
Yeah.
And time runs away. I mean, how many times have I got up in the morning, I've rushed around, and I've gone, shit, I've got to brush my teeth before I go to work. And you think, I ain't got time, but
Yeah.
I make myself because I don't want to go to work stinking to high heaven.
Yeah, but working from home though.
But,
Yeah,
but if
I
you
don't
had to
know,
work from
that's
home,
the thing, isn't it? If you're working from
I'm
home,
just
you
on
haven't even got
Teams
to put your
calls all day.
face on.
No,
Yeah.
I've got like my bloody
It's easily done.
trackies on and like a
It's
smart
easily
top on
done.
top.
but people do it, don't they? I mean, I went to Estuary House up here, which is a local authorities place in the summer, and I did laugh to myself because a guy I've known for many, many years on the phone, he does brokerage. And I went in there and, oh, John, I'd love to meet you. And he's in a shirt, tie, and when he's still got fucking shorts on and flip flops. I'm like, what? Obviously, you had a bad day.
Yeah, but that's not helped. The whole COVID thing hasn't helped with that kind of motivation because we could all just do it and we could all just sit at home stinking our own
But I
festering
think-
juices.
And, you know, your environment when you're sat at home and it's dark and it's just the lights are off and you're on Teams calls all day, it's really not conducive to a good place, is it?
No. If you're feeling low, knowing that you've just got a day at home on Teams calls, it doesn't.
And I think if you're at home all the time, like I've said to you the other day when you were unwell and you had a couple of days and you'd had a bit of a, you know, a very bad day, and sometimes it's just because you've been isolated as well, looking at the same 4 walls, you haven't been outside, you haven't conversed with anyone, you haven't seen anyone. And yeah, that's tough. I mean, I know we've got our phones, but it's not the same
No, it's not
seeing
the same.
people, is it?
It's not that even
And you
if you're,
hadn't been working and it was half term, you're beating yourself up.
But if you're in that depressive state, though, I don't think anything's going to kind of solve that in that moment, and you just kind of need to
Gotta let
like,
it go,
you just
let
need to
time.
kind of ride it and think, okay, this is going to be a really
be
shit
kind to
few
yourself.
days, and you can feel the triggers coming on, you can feel how you feel when it's happening.
But I think interacting with people does help, though. If you can get somebody to interact with you at that moment.
Just not waking up with your mum in the front room.
And I think even
Not your mum!
even doing the school run for me, I know it sounds really ridiculous, but I went from being a full-time mum 24/7 a day with my child all the time, didn't see any other adults. I wasn't able to work because he was in my care and, you know, his dad works full-time. Suddenly I've got a school run, I've got adults going, hello, good morning. I hate mornings and I hate it when people say good morning to me, but it's good I've got that routine and I'm seeing and speaking to people, and I think that's helping as well. Just that 2 trips a day, even if that's all I do and all I see, I'm seeing humans.
Yeah,
And people are saying hello to me like I
Don't think about
exist.
mornings.
Oh, I wanna
No,
go back
not
to-
mornings. Okay, the pickup's
I
better.
want to go back to Lee for a minute because, you know, you're going through it at the moment, mate, and you know, this isn't about highlighting, but you know, it's good to chat, isn't it? So, you know, you've had quite a hard year. You've had a job which has been challenging.
Well,
That's changed. You know, you've got things going on at the moment. What's led up to this for you? I mean, do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, so 24 has started a startup with a friend. It was more his dream than mine, but I'd been made redundant at the time, so I was looking for something. There was the option to go and work for the big corporate in the space that I didn't really, it wasn't sitting
Timing
well
wasn't
with my
right either,
core
was it?
values. And then he approached me about coming on board as a co-founder. It was like, he's a tech guy, I'm a sales guy. It seemed like perfect. And we really tried, but it became apparent to me that I just didn't want to be a startup founder. I'd just been in charge of the
It's
business.
hard, mate, isn't it?
Wasn't a life for me, but I still had to say, no, that's not for me, and give it up, which felt like a failure. It felt like I was failing. Even though I went into a really good job when I left there, there's still the kind of like that failure. And obviously the life of a startup founder is probably 16 hours a day.
Brutal, mate,
Because
isn't it?
the first things to take a hit in business are the owner's salaries. So we couldn't take it because we had to pay for like server costs and developers and stuff like that to keep the customers happy. So then I had to take another job. So then I was working 9 to about like 6 or 7 for this one, and then starting another job in the evening. It was still sales stuff in the sector, but it was just kind of like burning me out slowly.
And then do you find that, I mean, so our next one we're going to talk about, we're going to do some life balance chat in the next podcast, aren't we? Do you think it also impacted your life balance dramatically, which also didn't help?
I think so, because instead of going for work from 9 to 5 and then clocking off at 5 and spending time with the family and being present in the moment, I'd finish work probably about like 8 or 9 o'clock and then try to go to sleep. So there was no quality time there. So it definitely impact the relationships and then had a knock-on effect.
You've got to have downtime. You've got to have that, haven't you? You've got to have some
But do you
me time,
find then-
self-care.
With depression, though, sometimes you can't actually sleep properly.
No,
Your
you
brain's
can't.
just
No,
whirring, isn't
No, you
it?
can't.
You're led there and you've got your eyes closed and your brain's just talking nonsense to you.
I've had nights like that where I just feel like my brain's been on a merry-go-round and it hasn't shut up.
Well, that's
all
what,
night.
like, where for me, where like the self-medication sneaks in. I think when I can't sleep, so I just have a drink. I have a couple of drinks just so I can get to sleep.
Yeah,
And that's where
but
you,
it is
you-
actually
you
in our
try and
heads, isn't it?
cause, yeah, you try and treat it
Yeah.
yourself, and you can't.
The trouble is
You're
with
just masking it for a bit.
all of those self-medication things, though, it is a mental thing because, you know, with alcohol especially, I've been there. So you're in the middle of the night, you're down a little drink thinking that'll help me, but you're falling straight asleep.
Yeah.
And it hasn't,
actually got into your system
hasn't
yet.
even got to you yet.
Exactly.
It's just your brain's gone.
It's just placebo.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
placebo effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, massively.
So let's talk about the amazing
What, Lee? Oh, sorry.
The amazing Lee.
The amazing Lee.
Let's talk about Lee, baby.
Let's talk about the baby.
Poor Lee's lost his favourite favourite.
Baby.
Yeah, I don't mind people helping themselves, but they've all gone around the
Yes,
desk.
come over and stay over here, look.
You're the only one who brought snacks. John's brought no
Thanks,
snacks.
Lee.
It's terrible.
So let us talk about the amazing proxy that is functional depression.
Oh, here we
So
go.
functional depression is the gift that just keeps on giving. So
Sounds lush.
you're still well enough to work, so you'll go to work and you'll smile and you'll put on that mask and you'll put on that face, and then as soon as you close the door, the world just goes black. The black dog enters, and just depression hits. Has anyone danced with functional
I
depression?
just deal with it all the time, Lee, honestly.
Yeah,
And I catch myself sometimes, and I'm putting on this big bravado show thing, and whether or not it's a face-to-face meeting or a Teams meeting, and I do what I'm doing, I go, ha, 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 ha. Like, my friends like take the piss out of my work laugh.
It's almost like being
and
an
then
actress,
it
isn't
just
it?
closes, and I feel myself just go, and people like looking at me, and I'm, yeah, all the time. I'm dancing with it all the time.
And the trouble is, your face don't lie, does it? So if someone catches you afterwards, you
Yeah.
can see instantly that sparkle's gone.
But people don't see it because I turn my back, and it just kind of drops. I'm like, okay, back in the
I
game.
think sometimes I become more louder and I come across more confident because I'm almost overcompensating. So I can do it, and I have done it a lot. But it's weird because I never remember things like when Dad was passing, I felt absolutely bonkers, and I can't remember back then.
Is
But
that
I
the
was
start?
trying to mask it,
I mean-
but trying so hard. I think I just wasn't present at all.
I remember
a
one
long
time, so it was October Car Show, I think it was 23 maybe, or 24, I can't remember, but on that day I had like a massive breakdown, massive attack of depression. Now, Car Show, for anyone who knows me, it's my happy place. UK Car Week as well, for any sponsors watching. Don't want to get happy with-
We've had Netflix Sour Patch.
But Car
Just
Week,
sponsor us, it's all fine.
yeah, UK Car Week and Car Show, there's thousands of car providers. I get to give some nice speaking slots.
Spiel.
Get to speak to the car providers who come onto the stand, try to sell them software. onetouchhealth.net.
Just drop that baby in there. Sorry, is that where you work?
Yes, that is where I work, onetouchhealth.net. Message me for quality software. Anyway, I'm trying to make a point. Anyway, so I had a massive attack of depression at the care show. Now, I had a panel discussion I was giving on grief in the care sector. Now, unfortunately, this guy here was on
Unfortunately,
the
he was
panel
there.
with me. I couldn't get any numbers. I couldn't get anyone. Everyone was like, that one. John was like, yeah, people love me. I'll do anything. But you were on that panel with me, and you didn't know me as well as you do now. I mean, we were good, like, colleagues.
I thought you were a tosser there, and I still think I know.
But on that grief panel at the care show, would you have put me down as someone who was having, like, depression issues at the time?
I don't know if I would or wouldn't. I mean, you were quite quiet that day compared to what you are right this minute. It was just a fucking gobshite. I mean, I think... I don't know, mate. I think I didn't know you as well as I do now. But in reflection, if I think back, maybe. But at the time, I didn't. You know, you were happy-go-lucky for how you are, still quite chilled. Still insulted me. So it's
You're easy to
Yeah, but
insult.
that makes you feel better, though, doesn't it? Insulting John.
Yeah,
Makes you
it makes everyone feel bad. Just insult John.
fucking phrase.
Instant medicine.
I don't think I insulted you back then. I thought
No.
we were
No,
like
you wouldn't
more
have known
colleagues
each other
than
enough,
friends.
yeah.
He didn't really insult me. No, but I didn't know you as well as you now, and I thought, you know, you're very professional. And thinking back, I think, no, I wouldn't have known massively. I mean,
I think
you were
we're
very
all
quiet.
masters of masking, though, aren't we? And I don't think that the four of us sat in this room now, nobody that doesn't really know us wouldn't ever guess
When we're
like
having
the
a bad
intensity
day.
of how
But
bad
the,
we can feel
considering you'd had
sometimes.
a massive breakdown, are we talking like tears and, you know, like a good cry in the morning as well? Or
Yeah,
were
it
you
was-
just feeling it on the inside? Like, were you physically showing it as well?
It was just numb. It was just absolutely
So
numb.
you were
That's
just on
always the worst
overdrive,
thing, isn't it? When
go
you
and do
get
it.
to that stage when you're just numb and you just
Auto
don't
drive,
give a shit,
isn't it?
you don't
You just
care.
gotta get
and
on
The
with
trouble
it.
is you've gone past the tears then, haven't
Yeah.
you? You've gone past it. You've had the tears.
It's almost too late.
And then you there's
Get
just
to that
nothing
stage.
left, and your guard's right up. So when
So
someone
maybe if you
talks to
had
you,
been
your guard's
crying
up.
and you had the red eyes and everything, he would have noticed. But actually, on the
Yeah.
outside,
But
no
the
one
lights
really
weren't
did.
right. I
Yeah.
couldn't. You can't. The lights aren't
Yeah.
right.
He's never like that, but he was.
I'm not that kind, because people like your salesperson, you must be able to sell ice to Eskimos. I'm not that type of salesperson.
No, you're
I won't talk.
you're
I'll
right.
listen and listen for people's signals, and then I'll talk about them. But I won't be like.
See, I'm just a knobhead, and if I get excited and carried away, and I did welcome to the Emma show, but yeah, but that sometimes.
Wasn't last episode.
Oh, yeah.
I was having a lovely nap.
Fucking
Thanks,
bacon.
guys. No, but yeah, but you become like you become a master of mask and stuff, don't you? And people would be really, really surprised if they actually knew. The people that don't really know you, if they actually knew what was going on in your internal monologue, I think people would be surprised.
But even having that conversation in this room, which is going to go out to the public, is quite a brave one, isn't it? Because you're really laying yourself out bare, going, actually, I really struggle behind the scenes. So you might think I'm smiling, I'm in a good place, but I might not be.
Do you know what I used to do? Sometimes if I've gone into a shop and I've purchased something and they like sort of shove the money in your hand and I used to go, oh, that's rude. But now I just think it is rude. But
That'd be
actually,
rude.
now I'm a bit older, I've taken a step back. That woman or that person that served me might have been having a really shit day.
Or they might just be grumpy.
They might be grumpy. They might have not had a bonk last night with their partner, whatever. But
Bonk.
I love the word bonk. But actually, you know, it used to grind me, people being rude. And yeah, I mean, there is a certain like level of service. I mean, if they're throwing the money at you and saying, get out of the shop, that's definitely rude. But yeah, I used to, you know, even judging people like that person might not be able to put on a front today.
No.
You know, you don't know what's going on in their lives. Even when it comes to driving, you know, when
Are you right there?
some people sort of say thank you and some people don't, and you think, oh, that's rude, you know. And I used to shout obscenities out the window, you know, that's really rude, I let you go, but
So
you
who's
just
the one with
don't know
anger
what's
issues?
going on. No, I just don't like rude. I think it's nice to be nice, and I think it's nice. Manners don't cost anything, but I used to be a little bit judgmental towards people like
Judgy Jenna.
that. Judgy Jenner is what I've been called, yeah. By you, yeah. Well, you were Judgy John.
You were Judgy John the other day, yeah.
But actually, you don't know what's going on in someone's life, and it might be just that day, they just can't hold it in, they can't cope with it, they can't mask it, and actually it's just important, again, to be kind, isn't it?
I think so. But I think, going back to you, Lee, at that time, I mean, you've brought that up, so I'm intrigued. What were you thinking at that time? Because you were saying you were in the middle of a really dark moment, but I wouldn't have been. I mean, you sat at the edge of on your computer, and Mark and I were talking about grief and bringing you in and out, but you wouldn't really know. So where were you in that moment then?
I just knew what I had to do. Like Emma said before, we are kind of like creatures of the lights on.
Did you have a trigger though? Was there anything in particular that was going on in your day or life at that particular time? Because it's obviously stuck in your mind, that particular show and that day.
Just because I'd had that attack of depression at a time that is my happiest. Like, all year I look forward to the shows in London, the shows at the NEC, and it is where I like to do. It's kind of like why I love my job so much, that I can get out in front of so many people, talk to so many people.
And when we walk around these shows, we know quite a lot of people now, don't we? So you are in every.
Lads.
I do.
I just hover around you and
John just
Can you
basks
imagine
in my
walking around the
glory.
care show like that? Really?
I just walk
Just
around.
down Hales and
Back
Hi, I'm Lee's friend. Hi, I'm Lee's friend. Hi, I'm Lee's friend.
I'm like,
Just like me.
and I have to follow behind and go, no, he's not.
He really does do that.
mess after you.
Maybe me and Jenna next year.
I'm going.
Bye, John.
Hi, John.
We've done it with free before.
Anyway, nice God, nice
Do you know what?
jacket, Lee.
I am depressed now. Thanks a lot. I feel
But no, that
You're welcome.
was it was just quite a sad time, because it is an event that I do look forward to, so it always sticks in my mind. I'm like, I should be like in my
Happy.
element.
But I wouldn't. What's really sad about it is that I think I would know now. I would pick up on it now. But before that, we had talked quite a lot in the weeks before that, because we were doing PDFs. We were talking about content. We did a lot of work before that grief chat. It wasn't just an ad hoc
But you didn't
one.
know him enough to pick up on the
But then
signals.
saying that, I knew already that you weren't having the best of times today, and I've walked in and I don't think I would have known if you hadn't told me. I really don't think I would have seen it in Lee today. I
Yeah,
think
unless
you're
you've been
very good at
open.
getting on with
Yeah,
it.
Lee-
Yeah, if
Lee's
you
very
hadn't
good.
said anything and I didn't know what
Lee
he's
is
been
very
going
good at
through,
masking. Very
I
good at
walked
masking.
in
Poker face,
today,
yeah.
still smiled, gave a
Like,
hug,
we all
just
know.
normal.
Yeah, we all know this week he's been through a really shit time
Yeah.
and he struggled.
Yeah.
But actually, for people that didn't know you and if you hadn't told us that, we wouldn't know that, because you are clearly very good at kind of masking stuff.
Presenting yourself.
Well, you
and
have
just-
to do that as a sales, because
Yeah.
you give someone a price,
Yeah, but you don't have to
and you
now.
have to shut it.
You don't
That's the
have to
best
now.
sales technique. Do you know what, I'm really going to do this for you. I'm going to do that for you. I'm going to go and hold the silence.
I just hold the silence.
Yeah.
People like talking, like, oh, but we can give you a discount. But I'm just like, I'm just going to sit in silence. I'm comfortable with silence.
See, I would
so-
struggle with that because I'm such an extrovert. If you're silent, I'm going blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you
can't
fill
do
the space
silence.
in. So I would, and that's the
Yeah, I
tactic.
would fill the
That's-
space.
I mean, this has turned
I
into a
start talking
sales
about Philip
podcast
Bannon or
now.
something.
But that's the tactic, is I'll give you the price, and then make you kind of like say,
just
no, I
start-
don't like
I'll just
that.
start talking
Because
about
you might
polish.
say yes, you might say
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
that's
Do you know what
fine.
estate agents teach
I would
it
just
to
start
you?
talking about Tic Tacs or something. I did.
Shake my
Just anything to fill the space. Oh my god! Tic Tacs like what's mint?
So we just had a really calm podcast. now
Well,
it's got-
kind of calm, yeah.
We were talking about grief, so I mean,
Yeah, it wasn't the
Well-
happiest of happiest.
But I
episodes.
think there is something around also in depression around that silence, isn't there? And not being able to cope with silence in depression. You know, so if you're feeling down and someone holds the silence, it will make you feel even more uncomfortable,
Yeah,
because
'cause
you
some
start
people
having
like to be
internal.
alone.
It can make you feel more
Some
exposed.
people don't.
Absolutely, and or if somebody brings up what they see in you or say about you, it makes you feel really exposed.
That's
as
a real
well.
struggle. If you're at a really low point and someone can kind of actually see you and expose you.
Oh,
and
you
say
look
to
like
you,
crap today.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Cheers, then.
correct. No, but no, you know
was
what I
every
mean. If you're masking it, you're having a crap day. You think you're just getting on with it,
No,
and
but-
someone says, "Oh, you don't
No, but
look
even
good
if you're
today,"
like,
or "You look
No, but
tired."
even
I
if
hate
you're just
that.
like at home and you're feeling really, really shit and you're feeling really, really low, and somebody comes around and they go, right, this is how you're feeling, and they massively expose you. It's like, God, and you feel really, really vulnerable.
Yeah.
Because you're trying so hard all the time to hide it, mask it, prove a point.
They
No,
got to
I'm
know you
fine,
quite
I'm
well,
fine,
though.
Yeah, they do have to know you well. They do have to know you well.
But there isn't nothing
that can be a real
worse.
struggle. That
There
can be
is
a real
nothing
struggle.
worse though when you're in public and you think you've got your face on and you think you're doing well
Oh,
and
God.
you think you're
You're right, you
smiling
look
and someone
tired.
goes, Jenny, you don't look good today. Are you all right? Are you ill? No,
And then you
actually,
realise you've
I'm
still
not.
got your hair clipping because you haven't taken it out and finished your hair.
Yeah, but it's those things though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you think you're doing a good
Yeah.
job, and someone says, "Oh, you look tired today."
Yeah, and you do. Suddenly, it's like, oh, great, they can see how I'm doing.
But
they know
nobody
that I'm
can
not
ever
doing
see.
well.
Nobody can see, and that's the thing, isn't it?
No.
I think sometimes we assume that people can see as
But
well.
nobody knows
And
what's
actually,
going
unless
on
someone
inside.
really knows you really well, if you're in those really low moments and you're masking and you're hiding it and you're just trying to function and get on through life, I think we're all probably really good at that.
Yeah.
So it would only be someone that truly sees you
Yeah.
that's going to be
We
able
would
to
see
do
it
that.
in each other,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
hopefully nobody in the public would see it. But yeah, you would notice it.
Has anyone ever been fed the pearl of wisdom when they're depressed or in depression or in a black mode or in a
Yeah,
black
and I've
mood?
gone, fuck off.
Let him finish the question.
One day
swearing,
you
Jonathan.
will let me finish a
Let him
question.
finish the question.
I won't
Has
answer.
anyone heard the phrase "just choose to be happy"?
Oh God, yeah,
Oh,
brilliant.
don't. Just get on with
Oh,
it.
why did I
Man
think of
up.
that? Why
all
did I
that.
think of that? Thanks, Karen.
So how does that make you feel?
It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating because genuinely, on a normal day when Emma is on baseline, I'm genuinely like quite a positive person that can see the best in things, that you know is grabbing opportunities, that you know is loving life. So if I'm really feeling shit, I'll just fucking cheer up. Oh, brilliant, thanks.
Yeah.
Didn't think of that.
Light bulb moment.
Yeah, soz. And it's just it's really frustrating actually, and it's one of it's
Do you know
quite a
what? I
trigger.
said something to my ex-husband actually, and I still feel bad. I should probably apologise because it
No, don't
helped me
bother.
feel better. Oh no, he was ex-forces actually, and he went through something really bad in the Navy, and he was going through therapy, and it had to get worse before it got better. You know, he was talking about it, or he's coming home really sad. And I think I said to him one day, he was sat there really glum faced, and I looked at him and said, "Oh, just bloody man up."
Oh, Jenna.
It was, but
Yeah.
you know, when you're at lockerheads and things aren't good and he's coming home angry and upset because, but you know, I am trying to be a supportive person and supported him for a very long period of time going to therapy. We are only human, and I did
Yeah.
say a bad thing and I still regret it to this day. So
Yeah, but at least you're
You
right.
can't beat yourself up about that. Can you?
but yeah, but
Trouble
you
is-
do say things, and I feel bad because again, that's that whole man thing as well, isn't it? Oh,
Yeah, but at
man
least you
up. He said my
recognise it though,
therapist told me to do that,
And
and that's what
I think the trouble is that's
And
a
actually,
really
you do
old.
need to say sorry to him.
I
for
do
that.
need
Does
to.
that-
Yeah, I'm going
There's
to do
the
it
camera.
today. No, not on here. No, because I don't want to name him just
think,
in case he doesn't want
I
to be
think
named.
the reality is, though, I mean, that's a really old way of looking at it. I mean, in the 80s, we were all, as men especially,
Pull your socks up.
pull your socks up, man up, get a backbone, all
Yeah.
of that sort of stuff. And do you know what?
I think that is getting better now, isn't it?
It's getting
But that
better now.
has- yeah.
Absolutely.
But I don't think. But I also think it's really hard, isn't it? Because when you love somebody
Mm-hmm.
and you care about them in whatever that way might be, to keep going over a repetitive,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh,
because
it's
depression's
hard.
repetitive.
Honestly, John, it's hard.
draining, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
draining for them, but it's
And
draining
it's always
for
the
you.
person that's supporting the
Yeah.
person that gets. It's the
I've-
same with cancer. It's the same
Yeah,
with
I've been, like,
depression.
you
It's
know,
always a person that's
in a
supporting
close
them.
relationship with somebody recently, and they're going for a really, really hard time, and they have struggled, and there's like a set of circumstances that have led to that hard time. But every time I speak to them, it's the main topic of conversation. It's all we're going over again and again and again.
Have you tried guiding
And I
it to
feel-
a happy place, like
I feel
diverting
frustrated
conversation?
because it's like this is all we're doing it again and again and again. And actually, what would be really easy would be like, do you know what? Let's just like back off from this and let's like not deal with it. But I know I need to be there for that person. But it
Good
can
for
be
you.
like
But
you
if
said,
you're,
it
but
you're
you're
an
dealing with your own
empath as
crap
well.
too.
becomes
Yeah,
draining.
but that's why half of the reason which I've noticed when I went through a bad time, probably
Well, I'm
when was it, a
struggling
month
because of
ago,
who I am.
you know, when my certain person tried committing suicide. You're an empath. You took that on. The day that happened, and I was in hospital on like autopilot, you were like
lost the
on the
plot.
sofa, losing the plot, sleeping all over the place for about a week. Then now you're going through it with somebody else, something very similar.
Yeah.
And again, you're suffering. And it's because I've been called a sponge before. I didn't really take that very nicely at the time. But actually, we are both empaths.
And it's
If
hard.
somebody in the room, i.e. my ex-husband was going through a horrible time, he's gone to therapy, he's spoken about things, he's come home either upset or angry, whatever, I'm living with that, so I'm taking it in. And I think that's why I did say something
But-
quite
but
terrible that day.
But I think also you're all people, and probably all of us in this room are people that if you like somebody, you
Yeah.
like them and you
Yeah.
will support them till you die.
Wholeheartedly, yeah.
But that comes with a chore sometimes, isn't it? Because you won't let that person down, and it's really hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
And especially if you're in a situation like you were saying, I feel really down at the moment, and then you've got somebody on the phone going, but actually I'm really down. You're like, oh my God, do you know what?
Yeah.
What about me for a minute? What the fuck about me? You know?
And
It
it's
can get
exhausting
to that
being
point,
you
though.
sometimes,
Yeah,
isn't it? And then having to support somebody else, you're like, I can't do it.
just can't do it.
I can't do
Sorry,
it. Yeah.
Jen.
I haven't washed for a week. Can smell you from here.
So let's talk
I have
about
watched today, thank you.
the revenge of self-care routines, because self-care routines are amazing.
Oh,
We've
I
probably
slipped at
all
hell,
got
yeah.
them. But when we're in a depressive mindset, they show their teeth. So it could be stuff like if you watch your diet quite carefully and you track your calorie intake.
Oh yeah, because I do that.
That,
Try harder.
or it could be your steps. It could be that you
You could go to
monitor
the
your
gym,
steps.
get exercise.
So again, I think sometimes when you're in a depressive mindset, these things that are normally stuff that helps you, they then kind of like turn upside down. That's
I just go.
But I think there's so many.
This is the story. Oh,
It is
okay.
true though, isn't it? If you're
Upside down.
feeling really depressed and really shite about yourself and you're used to going to the gym as well, like, you know, I try and make it a daily routine. I always feel better. Do you remember that time I messaged you and you're like,
I'm going for
you've
a
just
run."
made me get off the sofa and go for a run. I love how high you are. But if you're in that state, I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to see people. If I'm feeling crappy and overweight, for instance,
I go
back
to
with my
complete
weight,
shit.
I don't want to go out in public. I
No.
don't want to go to the gym. So yeah, self-care is important. But
Well, I think there's
how
lots
do you manage that?
I think the trouble is it's different. Everything. So there's lots of different parts of depression, isn't there? You know, there's even like bipolar, and all those sort of things all come into depression and deep depression, because you can run on a high for so long, then you're down, and you know there's lots of things, isn't there? You know, even from constipation to lack of libido, all those things all cook in, and then they affect your life more and make you more pissed off.
I just
more
go to
gutted.
complete shit. I don't even realise like it impacts everything physically. And I really struggle with the basic just being
And
a
yours
human
is
being
very quickly.
and having I go down
You escalate very
quickly.
quickly, yeah.
Very quickly, and I'm not showering, I'm not cleaning my teeth. I'm literally just putting a bit of foundation on to go to the school run.
You could
But
be
then-
literally
then you
bounce
put
off
your
the
guard
walls
up,
for a
don't
week,
you,
ding,
just
ding,
to-
ding,
Yeah,
and
IBS
boom.
But I
in.
do that, but then I bounce back up quite quickly.
Yeah, I get
so
you.
I go down
Yeah, yeah.
and then...
And I would
Alright,
say I'm
Zebedee.
similar, really.
Yeah.
Oh. Shut up. But let's talk about, because one thing we've been asked for is more kind of like coping mechanisms,
Yes.
tactics.
Yeah, someone's pointed out to me.
So let's talk, because depression's a foxhole, isn't it? Depression is, we need guerrilla survival tactics. It becomes like this kind of like hijacking thing. So, I mean, just remember the 10% rule. If brushing your teeth's impossible, just lick the toothpaste.
I think that's the thing though, and it sounds silly,
Yeah.
but that genuinely is so true. So if you
Actually,
can't,
yeah.
if you can't go and have a full-on bath and scrub yourself, just scrub your pits. I mean, even if you can just manage something,
Put clean clothes on
yeah,
at
just
least so it
change your
hides
bed
the smell
or,
of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
just something, just to make you feel a bit more like a functioning human being.
I don't think so. For me, it's
It's
making
gonna
the
help.
bed. If I can get up and I don't know how down I am, and I make my bed. That's
John
an
has been
achievement.
banging on at me. I can't even tell you for how long about my bloody broken toilet seat. I do my absolute head in. Emily, toilet seat's broken. Get a new toilet seat.
Has
Yeah,
he not
yeah, yeah.
offered to fix it?
I know he's come around and he's done it now.
I fixed the toilet seat.
And do you feel
Honestly,
better for having a new
He was
toilet
on me
seat?
all the
How's the
time
new toilet
about my
seat?
bloody toilet seat. Emma, broken toilet seat,
Is
a
it
broken
nice?
mine. I'm like, John, shut the hell up. I love it.
I need to
I
come
can't,
and
I can't
try
be
it.
more grateful for
I
having
wanna
a
come
fixed
to your
toilet.
house
I
and
can't
have a
be,
wheelie.
I can't be more
But
grateful
for
for
me-
having a fixed toilet seat. But it's true though, and what he was saying was so true. That is like symbolic of a broken mind. Having a broken toilet seat and not caring is just like indicative.
But this
of
is
your
what I
mental
was saying
state.
to you, messy house, messy mind. But when you're depressed
Yeah.
and you're anxious or whatever, and ADHD, you can't even start it, 'cause
John,
you never finish
I
it
think-
anyway. But a messy house is fake. So what I do when I'm depressed is I ask for help. Or can someone just, you know, even if it's a friend, I had a friend before, I used to say, can you just come round and help me just fold my clothes? Because I don't bloody fold.
Well, I came
can't
home.
fold.
There's like a toilet seat outside
And
my
it,
front
and
door.
it makes such a difference. Just somebody coming to fold the pile of washing, but asking for help would be my coping
I'm
mechanism.
a knob though, because I don't have much of a filter. So I walked in, she went, I've tied up in here. I went, where?
It is better than it was, John,
No,
honestly.
no, it is better. But I think I stand by it. I think if you're really struggling, one little thing you can complete that makes it nicer for you will help you.
Yeah.
I was
And
like,
then-
I was even saying to Jenna, John's on about my toilet seat again. Like, it's just like, my bloody toilet seat.
But it is true,
actually,
because
it's
there was
true.
one
No, it's
day
true.
you went on a mass clear up, I think it was a Sunday, you had all day to do it, and you went and got all these cleaning products, and that made you excited to do it. Well, not excited, but you did it. And we went out for roast dinner, and you were so content and so happy, and you messaged me later that evening and said, I'm laying on my sofa and I feel really content. I said, yeah, because you're sat in a clean, tidy room. But it's hard when you are depressed and you have ADHD. Where do you begin when the whole
Honestly,
house is a
you love
shambles?
it.
I do
It's
it
just like-
sometimes. You can't finish a
No,
task.
look at
It's
it.
so
Every
satisfying
time.
having a dump on a broken toilet seat. I'm like, well, thanks.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to have to go round this set now. This is going well, isn't it, Lee?
This is. It's,
Can you bring us back, Lee?
But I think the key learning from it is,
It's
you know,
putting me wire out, Jen.
if you can do
Trapping me foot.
even one tiny positive thing in a day, it
Yeah, but I
can
have to say
take
to
the
you
edge
before
off.
though, because sometimes like, right, come on, Emma, what are you doing today? Like, voice notes to me in the morning. What are you doing today? Come on, like, make memories. What? Get out and about. And I'm like, actually, John, it's okay for me and Amy just to be at home having a chill out and a cuddle.
Yeah,
like,
but
that's okay
I'm
as well.
manic, though, aren't I?
I'm like, that's okay as well. So I have to remind him that you don't always have to be climbing up mountains and being naked at Kilimanjaro. Sometimes you are
Climbing
allowed
up
to sit on the
mountains.
sofa. Like, calm down, John.
Calm down, John.
But it's about comparison, isn't it? Because by doing that, you try to like force someone else into like your vision of
Yes.
reality.
Well, it's
Yes,
not.
and
It's
he
not.
does that. He does
It's
that.
not about that for me. It's about just getting
It's
people.
your way of trying to feel like you're supporting, letting her know that you are there.
I think
But what
it's
she's
just
trying to
good.
say is, stop going on about toilet seat.
Back away from the shit. I mean, I think for me, it's just about, do you know what, have some positive impact, because actually, I don't really care if any of us lay in bed till 10 o'clock. What I do
Sometimes
care
you need
about,
it.
10 o'clock, try 11.
11 o'clock.
Two.
What I do care about is motivating someone to actually, there's more to life than
Yeah.
just laying here all
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
And that may well be, do you know what? I know John's going to get up. I don't need to get up now, but when I get up, I'm going to go to the park. I'm going to have an amazing time. And you went to the park and you had a fantastic time. You're like, I'm buzzing. I've had a great time. You had a really good day.
She only rang you to tell you that to shut you up. She didn't actually go, really.
She said it. It might be black.
It was from
Hang
1976.
on, let me just check. Hang on. No, that definitely that says 2023.
John, throw your phone.
I'm not throwing my phone. I nearly broke it last night.
Anyway.
Anyway, Lee.
That is. I mean, that's a lot of content. That's a lot of stuff that we talked about. A lot of real takeaways.
I think it's the coping bit though is, yes, you feel like shit. Yes, it all feels terrible and it all feels horrible. But in the back of our minds, we all know that it is kind of a temporary thing.
I think when you're so up and down like us type of people are,
Yeah.
and so massively affected by the small and the big events in life, you do know that it's going to end.
You do
It
know
could
it's
be
gonna
one
finish.
day, it could be 1 week, it could be
it's-
1 month.
Yeah, but you know you're going to get through it, and you know you've been through this a million times before, and you know you've always kind of got through it. And I luckily have good people around me, but not everybody does. And I think we need to recognise that not everyone's got these kind of positive people around
And
them
I
as
think
well.
the best thing you can do is take 1 day at a time.
I say an hour.
Just
I've
get
been-
through the day. Yeah, 1 hour.
That's
even.
what I've been saying to
1
John
day.
recently. It's an hour at a time. It's not even a day at a time.
Yeah.
For me recently, I've been functioning, getting through life an hour at a time, and that's the best I can do.
Yeah,
And that's what I'm
fine.
doing at the minute.
And
I'm
you've
just
got through those hours near you are.
hour. And I went back to sleep earlier, and
But you probably needed that.
I did need
you
it.
listened to your body.
No, I did need
Didn't
it, but
set
yeah,
an alarm,
it's
but-
not. I think just the goals just need to be manageable and obtainable, and actually, to say like to me at the moment, a day at a time, that's too big for me at the
Yeah.
minute. I can't cope with a day at a time at the minute. So for me at the moment, it is an hour at a time. And if I can get through that hour, then I'll get through the next.
And you're
hour.
getting through it. I mean, you've made some really positive steps in the last
Yeah.
week or two, haven't you? I mean, especially. I mean, yeah.
I've been in a really, really shitty place. Obviously, you guys.
We've had a good week and we had a nice weekend and we've seen each other and we've had a lovely time.
And
And
there's loads of positives, but
Yeah.
it's been an incredibly difficult week, and I kind of fell to the floor at the beginning of the week and just absolutely like hit rock bottom.
But we caught you up.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
did.
yeah,
No, you did.
and
And
you've-
you did catch
look at
me.
you now.
No, you did catch
Yeah.
me. Yeah, but I almost needed to get to that really, really low place to recognise that I needed to get better. But that's why like the goal has to be achievable
1 hour
and
at a
not too
time.
big. And that's why I
You
say an
need
hour
to
at a time, an
make
hour at
it
a time, an hour at a time.
achievable for
Yeah,
yourself and not be
yeah.
hard on
I couldn't-
yourself and know it is going to end.
I couldn't do a day at a time.
But I also think there's several things to take away from it that I just want to say is one, you will fuck up.
Yeah.
You know, you will have a
Yeah.
if you're doing drink or you're doing drugs or you're just feeling up and you're feeling
There'll
down.
be those bad
there will be
moments.
bad
Yeah.
days, and it's just a bad
Even
moment.
if you can't get out of
So
bed, that's
don't be
okay
angry
some
with
days.
yourself. Don't beat yourself
Yeah.
up. And if somebody makes you feel bad about it, they're not your real friend. Let's be
No.
honest, they're not. But also, I wanted to just touch on, you know, Lee, you said earlier, you've got some antidepressants. There's a lot of stigma around that, and a lot of just guilt, isn't there? Sometimes there's shame. Oh, I've got to have antidepressants. Don't be ashamed of it, guys. I mean, if you need a little bit of help, it's okay.
But the way I look at it is some people go, oh, I'm not going to doctors and taking pills to change my brain, but they'll go and have a spliff. Or they'll sniff some cocaine. So actually, I know what people say about the pharmaceutical companies, but either way, it is regulated. There is going to be side effects of alcohol. There's going to be side effects of pharmaceutical antidepressants.
But it's manageable.
But why are people so ashamed of saying, I'm going to go to the doctor and get some pharmaceutical drugs, blah, 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 but they're not ashamed to say, oh, I did a gram of cocaine at the weekend.
After that, I think it was the first episode when I spoke about my statue in the woods moment, and I was like, just frozen like a fucking weirdo.
And I know I think
I've been on 10 milligrams like citalopram a day since then. And actually, that's okay. Like that's all right, and it's just accepting the help
So
and actually not being ashamed of it.
before that, though, did you have moments where you think, "Oh, I'm going to have these tablets," and you felt a little bit?
I just never saw me as that person. So I've always had this like certain persona, and I've always been extroverted, and I've always been kind of outgoing and stuff, and I've always been quite bubbly, and I just didn't see me as the sort of person that needed to be medicated to support my mental health. I just didn't see it coming.
Same.
Yeah.
No, and I think, and that's something to be really aware of, isn't it? Because that can send you into another spiral.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about depression. Anything can trigger you. Kind of, it might be that somebody's rude to you in the shop, and actually you're having a bad day. And you know what? Why me?
Yeah.
Why have I done to deserve that? Say it might be that I thought I'd go and get help, and that's made me feel even worse for getting help. So I think you just got to be very mindful of how you're going to cope with these things.
I think it's like the stigma around it as well. Like I'm like, oh shit, like if I go to the doctor and say I'm feeling in this certain way and I'm not really coping, like I've got a little girl, I'm a single mum, and your mind like
Which you would
just
amazing.
overthink, but you overthink. My child's going to get taken away from me. She's going to get put in foster care, and that's where your brain goes. You feel like as a single mum, if you go to the doctor and say I'm not coping, your brain just bounces to the worst possible scenario that can happen.
They're your everything, that child, and then you feel like you're showing weakness.
Yeah, and then you're trying to hide that. You don't want to admit that.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to show the weakness because.
Well, if you're not looking after yourself, how's your child doing? That's how you feel. It's going to turn into sinister.
Massively. But actually, when I got to that point where I was like, I'm really not okay, and I had to say to my boss that day, like, I can't work today anymore. Right? I've got to stop working. I just need to go for a walk or whatever. But when you finally admit it and you do go and seek the help,
the relief you had when she was nice, she really understood. And I said to her, she sounds
I
lovely.
she's been trying to phone me for 3 days.
Yeah. You spend more time like worrying about that for days, and then as soon as you said it, she was really supportive.
Yeah, no, she was lovely. But I think it is that realisation that once you go, do you know what, I'm not okay, people do want to help. They are genuinely interested. They are invested. They do want to help. And actually, popping a few crazy pills isn't the end of the world.
No.
And I've been on citalopram. I've done it. It didn't really do much for me, that particular one, and I didn't try any more because I actually met my ex-husband and my life improved a bit better anyway. I was told I wouldn't have children and stuff like that, so I went on antidepressants, and I met him and he had a daughter, and then I got pregnant, so everything got better. Yeah. So for me, I wasn't on them for long enough to say, because I think they say 3 to 6 months, is it, for them to kick in, or is it less than that? But I was only on it for about 6 months and I came off. So I can't say whether they helped or not, but either way, my life did get better.
I think it does. I think if they work, even if it's a placebo effect and they make you feel better, that's the main thing.
Yeah,
it's giving you a break, isn't it? You don't be ashamed
Yeah.
about it. I mean, there's so many different
Just
coping
like
measures,
lose the
isn't there?
shame. Yeah, lose the shame. I'd rather take
and I'm fine admitting it, but some people wouldn't be and wouldn't want people to
Well, that's
know.
why I want
They'd
people
feel
to know that it is
shameful.
okay.
Yeah, I've done it, I've tried it, and my life did improve, whether it was the tablets or not.
I do
don't
think,
know.
though, that along
But it
with
did
that,
help.
there comes with a caveat around looking at your friends, so-called friends, isn't there, and the people you socialise with, because some people just drag you down. And
radiators and drains.
Radiators and drains. But I think it's right, though, isn't it? Because
it is.
And the people that drag you down are usually the ones that are hovering around you.
The jealous people as well. I think if you've got a friend in the group that's a little bit jealous, or they're not in the position or achieving as much as you, they can behind the
Misery
scenes.
loves company. So people like to drag down. But
what is it? They call it secret sabotage, don't they, or something like that?
Secret saboteur.
Yeah, and they're not they even mean to, but they just by default are narcissists, and then they try and bring you down.
People don't always mean to be like that, though, do they? I know people in my life that I'm really, really close to that actually I couldn't do my life without, but in the background there's that going on.
Yeah, and they're a nightmare, and you might be really fond of them, but if they are bringing you down, not helping, you just got to be brutal. I mean, I think
you've just got to remember it's your life, isn't it? And you've only got one, and actually it's okay to be selfish and it's okay to do you.
And when they go home and leave you in turmoil, they're not thinking about you.
No.
They've had a good time, they've gone home,
Yeah.
and you've done, and your house is trashed, you're feeling trash, and your mental health's in the bin. I mean, I fell out with so many people. When I stopped doing coke and that back in the sort of mid-90s, whenever, I fell out with so many people, I had to walk away. I moved from Newbury to Andover and cut off about 75%
A
of
lot
my...
of people say that. I know an ex-heroin addict, and I said, how did you do that? Because that's meant to be one of the hardest. And he said, I just had to change everything. I changed my friends, I changed my job, I changed my location. He said I had to, that's extreme.
My
but
ex-husband did the same. So when I first met him, we met for a dating site. When I first met him, he had no friends. And I was like, well, where's your friends? And he said, honestly, before I met you, he was so involved in the drug scene. He's like, when I met you and actually wanted to make a go of you, I had to turn my back on all of those people. So all of his social contacts, his friends, he just had to turn his back on, because actually, you're right, there's some people, you're just never going to be able to make positive changes in your own life if you're hanging around with a certain group of people.
But you have to be aware, though, of my learning. This is about my learning. So when I did that, I was in quite a lonely place for a long time because my routine was going free partying on every weekend. My Mondays would
surrounded by
looking
people.
at how I'm going to get out on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Get some ecstasy or some coke or some speed or wherever I've been, or all of it. And I think you're on a journey every week to get to your partying, and your partying then turns into that, and all your mates are there. But it's bad. It's a bad situation. So when I walked away, I was in a really lonely place. And I'll tell you why. Because all my friends who I'm fond of were really bad influences. But the way I perceived myself was as a druggy raver. So all the people where I raised the bar, I said, my bar now for my friendship group is here. I want that bar to be higher. They wouldn't engage with me because I was perceived as a druggie and a raver. So it took a long time for me to get through that. So I was in limbo for a long time where I didn't really have any
You've got
particular
lots
friends.
of space to fill, haven't you? Lots of time to fill
Well,
as
you
well.
have
with
to
something
change.
different
You
and
have to
positive,
improve who
different.
you are. You have to start acting in a different way and talking. I mean, I can't go, all right, mate, how's it going? Yeah, all right, yeah, we'll get out on the weekend, innit? Because the people who I wanted to socialise with
I
weren't
can
gonna
imagine that
respond to
caused a bit of depression as well, didn't it? Trying
It
to
was
get out
really-
of that hole and change your life.
Well, it was really hard because it also destroyed my relationship, because my relationship was also based on clubbing and stuff like that. So everything changes, and you have to, in your mind, go, I've got a vision and it's not where I am. So it takes time to dig away, but you have to...
Don't talk to us about visions. We don't
I
like
don't-
our visions being
my visions get
ruined.
ruined all the time.
Yeah.
Well, either way. I mean, but I think it's just... What I'm trying to say is, don't beat yourself up. If you're doing this, you're going to, I'm going to change and I'm going to separate myself off from these drains who are draining my life, you will be in this limbo.
And you're not going to think about that on your deathbed, are you? On your deathbed, you're going to think, I had a good life, I made the right decision at the right time, and I changed my life, and I lived my life and had a happy life.
But be patient
not-
in
yeah.
that moment. That's what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say. I think
Just don't expect too much of yourself too soon.
that's what I'm trying to get over. Well done. Thanks
Yeah.
for coming. Thanks for turning up.
Cheers, John. Really, I'll get to it. Jesus Christ.
Fucking hell.
I think this is one that we're going to have to revisit again alongside anxiety. I mean, obviously, anxiety and depression are two huge topics that we're not going to cover in one. So we will come back to this. But we just need to get one thing straight. Depression is a con artist, slick talking fraudster that's been running the same tired scam for centuries. It whispers you're weak, when in reality you're a goddamn gladiator fighting with both hands behind your back, fighting against a massive tiger. It tells you it's going to be forever, but even the deepest neural pathways can be rewired. One defined act at a time. Here's the revolutionary truth they don't teach you. Every breath you take while carrying this weight is an act of rebellion. Every meal you choke down, every shower you absolutely endure, every "I'm still here" text message you send, those aren't small victories, they're underground resistance tactics in a war for your very soul. The world doesn't need another shiny, happy person. It needs you, scared, exhausted, but still swinging, because the most powerful force in the universe isn't happiness. It's a human being who's seen the abyss and decided to go plant fucking flowers on the edge.
Amen.
Yes, Lee.
He's good at these
I
little speeches,
like
isn't he?
you. You're
So-
good.
Did I like you?
I like you. You're good.
1 out of 3 of us like him.
Yeah, I like him.
We've got
Don't like you too.
so some resources, so crisis lines, Samaritans, again, 116123, or you can email joe@samaritans.org. Shout, you can just text Blue to 85258. That's a squint then.
Right
Obviously, don't forget mine's info line on 0300 123 3393. That's open Monday to Friday 9 to 6. You can self-refer yourself to NHS Talk and Therapies, and that's at nhs.uk/talk. And just talk to yourself, and what you're going through, depression, as I said there, is a liar. It speaks with a forked tongue. It tells you that no one else is going through this, no one else is going to understand this, is going to be your life forever. Like an abusive partner, once you talk to someone about depression, its grip slowly loosens, and that's how we need to do. I mean, because has anyone seen that Groundhog Day?
Yeah.
Yes.
That movie's about depression. Obviously, it's community that kind of like brings it all together. So again, just talk to people, and if you don't know anyone, call the Samaritans, get in touch with Shout, get in touch with Mind. There's lots of things there.
And try and
don't
get
forget-
out, isn't it? Try and get out your four walls.
Go to the GP.
Don't go to the GP, seriously.
That call is terrifying. The idea of that call is terrifying.
But it's surprising how many people they speak to and see every day going through the same thing. And when you're in that zone, you feel like it's only you, but they see it all day. That's
got
their
some good
job.
Just that
referrals.
reassurance.
Yeah.
I said to the doctor, I literally feel like I am going mad.
Mhm.
I feel like I'm going to.
That's how I felt when my dad was
off
going.
the rocker.
Horrible, horrible.
And actually, that reassurance that no, you're not, and you're okay. And, you know, things will be all right.
And you
Yeah,
are
you're
human.
okay,
You are human, and it's okay to feel.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is us for today. Don't forget, my Matt is brought to you by Soundpatch Fix.
And Netflix.
And Netflix. Dig in more.
Don't forget it.